how many times have you sacrificed your creativity and your inspiration because of the tool that you're using? And I claim
Yeah.
I do this all the time. Like every time I use a piece of software, I'm making sacrifices of my creativity. But in
I've
charting in
created fake
particular,
charts in Figma, and like used shapes to create fake charts because I couldn't really get what I wanted.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like more acutely than almost any other type of work
Mm.
that I've ever done, that's been the area where I'm like, I can't get what's in my brain into this API. And what I would say is like having just built a charting library internally, again, just basically for myself, maybe like one other user. Wow, you could do a shitload of stuff with Matplotlib if you let Cursor go wild. Um, and I mean, I've made some charts that like I've wanted to make in the past. Like, let me give you an example. When I went to some
Oh,
biases, we built this flux chart. And if in case the audience is not familiar, a flux chart is you have a time period on the x-axis. And so let's say it's a weekly flux chart or a monthly flux chart. Every tick is a time period. And on the y-axis, you have a stacked bar chart that can go up and down. Above the y-axis is good stuff. So this is number of new users. This is number of users that we previously thought were churned that have come back. That's called resurrected.
There's-
And number of retained users. So users that we had before that have continued to be active. What's below the y-axis? Customers that you've churned, or in some cases, you can put some other things down there. Building a flux chart is extremely laborious in most like languages or like charting stuff. It's really hard in hex, maybe still impossible. At one point, I think I was able to really hack and get one to work, but it's really close to impossible if it's not impossible. Nick Crucian can yell at me later if I'm wrong. He's the charts guru at hex. In mode, this was like a Sisyphean task. I think I eventually got something close. Surprisingly, I was able to get this to work in not amplitude, but what's the other one? Mixed panel. I got this to work in
mm,
mixed panel. That was like not totally a disaster. But anyway, this chart type, huge pain in the ass. But you can get it working and it's really valuable. What's even more valuable is to be able to take an extract from that flux chart and make it a stacked bar chart on the same axis down below. Small multiples where you have like a small version of certain things that you want to track and the top one be that. You know what's even more nice? Adding annotations.
mm.
You know what's even more nice? Being able to add a different coloring to a subset of the time domain, and within that time domain, different slices of the stacked chart. Dear reader, what if I told you could also change the background color of the axis so that you can see which quarter is which? You don't have
Mm.
to stop there. The sky is your
Mhm.
limit. When you are working with something like Cursor, this chart can get more and more and more rich. I find
Yeah.
myself thinking like I can open Tufte's book and say, no longer is this reserved for artists. Now I too can make data visualizations that actually like harness all the information that I want. For one of our quarterly, like our QBR recently, I made this chart that I'm talking about, not with like customers, but with a different data
Yeah.
set underlying it. And I'm like, A, there's no way in hell I could do this in any library.
Mhm.
B, the amount of time that this would have taken to even get close, insane. And I only spent about 3 hours making this chart. And it's everything I want. It's perfect. It's in our fonts, it's in our colors.
Yeah.
It uses the right like style. I'm able to go as crazy and hog wild as I want. Oh, the annotation looks kind of weird. Move it over a little bit. Make the arrow more wiggly. Who the fuck cares? Like,
Yeah.
like Cursor is just like, yes, sir. And so I think this is my point. Like, I think we often find ourselves thinking that tools are good, but
Mm.
I just I have become much more ambitious in a lot of my work
Mm.
because I'm now like exposed to this like superpower.